Libra, September 22nd to October 23rd. Libras at their best are studious, friendly, and balanced. Libras at their worst are obsessive, conniving, and cruel. Libra's horoscope is, beware of past entanglements.
Carcat, are you talking to the humans without me?
Yes.
Yes? Just yes? No convoluted excuse as to the specific reason you're keeping me separate from them? Is this because I nearly killed the June human?
No, and I didn't know you did that, which confirms my suspicions that you should be kept away from them at any cost.
Boo. Let me talk to them. I did some important things in the game myself, you know.
Fine.
Fine? Just fine? No endless arguing about our course of action.
You're just going to do whatever the hell you want, Torresi. You vile harpy.
Carcat, that's almost kind coming from you.
Just write your piece. I could use all the help I can get.
All the help, you say? Hello, all. Carcat has begun talking with the humans again.
The Hoomst?
Torresi, what the fuck are you doing?
You said you could use all the help you could get.
Talking to these humans is pointless. Are they not the reason we are in this mess? We are reduced to worms, hiding on a forgotten meteor in a long-lost session of this life-ruining game.
I'm with Ek for once. Those fuckers screwed us. Car, you said your own self that we're lost here because of them.
What else are we supposed to do? Sit on our slimy asses and die? Why am I even talking to you? I don't need your involvement at all. Just go about your business. Your miserable, nasty business.
I'm confuzzled. Didn't you say we were supposed to troll them, Carkitty? We'd get on their internet and yell them to not ever play the game? And meow, you're helping them?
That was before I knew all the facts. This demon, this Jack Noir guy, they didn't create him on purpose.
We're gonna help them win their game by explaining how we beat ours.
Can you stop making new memos? You fuckers can just use old memos. Whenever you make a new one, I have to get the notifications, for fuck's sake.
I like the plan, Carcat. I find it quite rewarding to speak to these humans.
You just have a crush on one of them. As far as I'm concerned, you're compromised.
Crush? Me? I find such an accusation outrageous. Allow me to type a refutation. It will just take a moment.
I too have been speaking to the humans. They are smarter than it has been implied.
I think they're cute! I've said from the start they'd make great subjects. Strong, willful, and their planet has such nice oceans.
I feel like that's a somewhat flawed approach to gauge their worth, but, sure. I'll put it this way. If you're interested in contributing to the document, let me know. You're all terrible, and I feel like I don't need to make it clear that she's not allowed anywhere near the humans.
By her, I'm assuming you mean her?
Don't make the pronoun game more confusing, Tavros.
Sorry.
Glad that's settled. Everyone get to work. I'll write the first section for our human friends.
Ugh.
My name is Torresi Redglare Pyrospite Pyro. I am 7 sweeps old, I live in the woods, and my passion is justice. Carcat says I have to drop my quirk to make this readable, but I've decided to only follow his rule after my cool introduction.
There. Is this better? Reading my words in unpalatable plain text? I forgot the E key even existed. Using 3 for such purposes is much more streamlined. But we're not here to discuss my unique and rad typing style. Hello. 2 of you shitty humans have already met me, and it would seem I have left a not ideal first impression. This is because I happen to have accidentally led to the paradoxical death of one of their own. Editor's note. Not an accident, but okay. An astute observation, Dave. You would make a decent defense flaterney. I did accidentally purposefully kill June, which was, in Alternian legal parlance, a dick move. I'd like to amend that issue by giving you a brief autobiographical peek into my life.
Editor's note. Hey, dipshit. This isn't your fucking memoirs. Talk about the game.
Patience, Car Kitty. This all relates to my quest. Initially, I did not want to play games with Carcat at all. I had bigger fin beasts to fry, you see. On Alternia, due to low population numbers and recent sweeps, junior law persons, like myself, were being drafted into the ranks of the Legislacerators, a position that suited me perfectly. Legislacerators are, of course, the noble law enforcers on Alternia, ranking higher than simple-minded drones that the Empress commands. They execute her force, but we execute her will. Among younger legislacerators, I earned the fearsome moniker Blind Justice, which was because I was and am blind. Sorry if you expected some convoluted reason for this name. Alternians are regrettably literal. As Carcat mentioned, our group was all close to conscription age. He and I in particular, since we were 7 sweeps old on the same day. He and I were clutchmates, in fact. As conscription was imminent, I was endeavoring to close one last case. The case of the Soper Fiend. In the Alternian legal system, there are only 2 outcomes of a case being closed. Culling and acquittal. Acquittal, as you may imagine, leads to the charges being dropped entirely, whereas culling is, well, you kill them. Acquittal can be achieved by 3 means. 1. Trial by combat. The accused fights the legislacerator assigned to their case and wins. 2. Trial by judge. The accused pleads their case before a monster known as a judge, a massive drone born of the mother grub who weighs evidence and decides guilt. This means only results in acquittal about 2% of the time. In 98% of cases, the hungry judge devours the accused. The final way of acquittal is blood vector. Certain crimes do not affect certain blood castes. For instance, a purple blood cannot be charged with petty crimes like swearing or jaywalking or murder. In this case, the case of the Soper Fiend, I was attempting to ascertain the whereabouts of a troll who was using too much soper based on general allotments. It is very illegal to consume soper slime, punishable by death for every caste, so I was trying to find the guy who was using too much of it. The issue was that I knew exactly who this Soper Fiend was. It was an acquaintance known as Gamzee Makara, who was under my personal protection. I had taken his case not to prosecute him, but instead to get him off the hook. In turn, Gamzee, being of a higher blood caliber to me, could assist in my own hiding from the authorities. For, as I mentioned before, I am blind. I'm not sure how they kill blind people on Earth, but suffice to say on Alternia it is monstrously cruel and slow. Drones descend from the skies and cull you on the spot with their dullest implements. Naturally, to stay alive, I had to enlist the help of highbloods. Make myself useful to them. My ingenious plan was to assist Gamzee with a certain game he was playing. This was my elegant solution. I would do him the favor of entering the game, and this game, according to my peers Solix and Carcat, would extricate him from our world, freeing him from his accusers and indebting him to myself. The only issue is that this game also ended the world. Womp womp. I'll spare you the intricacies of getting Gamzee into the game. He can write about that himself if he wants to. Repeatedly describing people getting into the game gets boring very quickly. Just assume that all of us entered the game in an efficient manner. I helped Gamzee into the game and then left him alone. There, that's what I did during this time. It was easy. Place the game constructs, watch him use them, guide him when he got distracted, which was often because of his crippling soper addiction. Come to think of it, what do humans use as soper when they sleep?
Editor's note. They don't. It's really weird.
Wow, okay. Well, soper is what we trolls sleep inside. It's necessary to keep the nightmares at bay. How do humans keep the nightmares at bay?
Editor's note. They don't have them super often, I guess. That's what June said.
Huh. Lucky them. Anyway, around this time I was contacted by an, acquaintance about the goings-on. Torresi.
Oh, hi, Eradia. A long time no see. Forgive this somewhat rude question, but, aren't you dead?
Yes, that is a rather rude question, but it is fine.
Okay. I'm going to trust my instincts and sweep my doubts under the rug.
Wise choice. I do not have much time. 2 things to tell you.
Don't let me keep you.
1. As you may have noticed, the game that you are playing is not a regular one. You will need extraction soon yourself.
What? I don't want to get involved in some brainless game with dumb boys.
I will not argue that these boys are brainless, but it is too late. Look outside. The trees of the great forests of the Pacific Northwest in Alternia are a wonderful place for a treehouse. They dot the canopies around the region, but they are few and far between. My closest neighbor lived about an imperial day span away. At Eradia's request, I peered out the treehouse window and saw my reckoning. Dotting the skies were fire-red meteors, bearing down on not just me, but the whole planet. This was upsetting for 2 reasons. 1 was the obvious threat to my life and the entire planet, and 2 was because of an ancient prophecy passed along to me by my ancestor. The prophecy that on the final day of Alternia, my mother would die.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Calm down. Listen to me and what I have to say. I want a favor. This favor will make us even.
Make us even? I stuck my neck out for you, Eradia. You have no bargaining leverage over me.
We both know deep down you do not believe that. You are a woman of debts and justice can now be bought at a bargain price. Now you are going to listen, or you are going to die arguing with me.
State your demands.
Have Tavros be your server player.
Tavros? No offense, Eradia, but even if I were willing to do that, he wouldn't agree in a million sweeps.
At least ask. Consider this my final request.
Final request? Fine, I'll ask him. That's it. But that's all I owe you.
If you say so, Miss Pyro. Bye. I will see you soon.
Weirdo.
Talking to Tavros could wait. Before I thought about games, I had to deal with my mother. The lush blue canopy made walking around on the forest floor relatively safe, even in full sun, allowing me to visit my mother freely. She and I shared a psychic bond. She spoke to me in my mind, guiding me through life. If you're wondering how that is, that's just kind of how things are for unborn dragons and their daughter moms. I'm infinitely glad that our connection was psychic, however, as my blindness makes it difficult for other forms of communication. You see, as Carcat might have mentioned, all trolls are not raised by parents like you freakish humans. Family units are boiled down to adolescent trolls and their lusus caretakers, a much more reasonable arrangement than manually raising live young. Dave tells me these live young are carried for a nearly third of a sweep in a human's stomach, but this is obviously a disgusting lie. Anyway, even for trolls, my lusus was somewhat strange as a case. You see, my mom is a dragon, but she is also unborn, meaning my lusus for most of my life was an egg. You might be wondering, Torresi, how can you have a mom who's an unborn dragon? Well, I'm getting to that, smartass. Suffice to say, being blind and having an unborn caretaker meant I had to adapt. Adapt, I did. My mother in her egg, like me, once she hatched, would be completely blind. This for her was normal. Dragons are blind where I come from. Instead of their eyes, they use their highly developed noses, a trick I learned to mimic quite astutely. I learned to smell the colors, with help from my mother. The light filtering through the canopy was growing redder as I approached my mother's egg, placing my hand upon it.
Hi, Mom,
I said in my thoughts. She heard this and responded in her usual way, a chipper, polite message, spoken without words or voice, but with infinite warmth.
Hi, Torresi! Hi! Oh, I think today is the day. I think I'm gonna hatch today.
Sure enough, from the egg I felt a squirm. On any other day, this would make my heart soar, but this day it made my blood pusher begin to pump ice through my blood highways.
Mom.
I hesitated. Mom could be somewhat naive, so I struggled to speak in an even tone as not to frighten her.
I need you to wait in your egg for one more day, okay?
But Torresi!
Mom was undaunted by my wariness.
I want to hatch. I want to smell you. I taught you so much about your nose, and now it's your turn to teach me.
To my shock, a crack formed in the egg's surface. I heard my mother's voice for the first time in my life. She cooed, the infant snarl of a newborn dragon.
Mom, wait! Stay in the stupid egg!
Foolishly, I tried to keep the egg together with my bare hands.
Torresi, I love you!
Mother could not be reasoned with, as more cracks in the egg formed. It was hell for me to see the thing that I had been waiting for sweeps come to pass on the worst possible day.
Wait!
I spoke aloud as the egg exploded, sending me flying onto my ass. Through the canopy, tiny shards of space rock were beginning to sear the ground around me, a rain of meteors burning away the forest I called home. The mother I'd spent forever talking to, my unborn charge, broke free in an explosion of eggshell and amniotic fluid, her sweet vanilla white wings extending to the heavens, my own nose tracking her arcs across the skies, born to fly, born to die. As I wiped ancient amniotic fluid and eggshell from my eyes, I smelled an awe-inspiring sight. My mother, infant wings outstretched, breathing hot fire from her flaming lips, shrouded by the burning fury of the infinite tiny meteors, the impressionist blur of my nose taking in the colors of her ascension. When Dragon Mom rose into the heavens, sending hot gusts of air in her wake, it was like the crescendo of the finest symphony, lasting only an instant. My mother was struck down by a meteor in her first span of life. She fell to the soil, lifeless. To my dumbfounded shock.
I love you too, Mom.
My words were soft as I looked at her lifeless corpse. I had never been more sad. Her sharp teal blood tinged my nose in both color and metallic scent, singeing to the very scent glands that she'd helped me refine. My only remaining hope was a sliver that Carcat had told me. Inside the game of Scrub, there was a way to revive her. I now had reason to enter the game besides Eradia's so-called final request. That girl cheats death so much, I wonder how many final requests she's ever had. Carcat had been saved by Gamzee, who in turn had been saved by me. Now it was my turn to ask Tavros for salvation.
Tavros, I want to play a game.
No offense, Torresi, but the last time I played a game with you, I sort of... Well, I used to be able to walk, and now I can't, so...
Okay, let me rephrase. Play a game with me, because if you don't, you're going to die horribly.
Oh, wow, I sort of don't believe you. No offense.
Fine, don't believe me. Believe the meteors outside your window.
If I look outside my window and there's something upsetting there, like as a prank to me, I'll be pretty mad.
That would be pretty funny, Tavros. But it's not a prank.
Oh, no, fuck. Oh, jeez, fuck.
After this, Tavros helped me into the game. Like with Gamzee, I'll spare you the sort of details, but suffice to say, helping one incompetent male into the game, only to have to assist another incompetent male to get into the game, was a source of infinite frustration. June was very wise to switch genders. Editor's notes. Thanks. You're welcome. To make a long, boring, repetitive, and frustrating story short, I found myself in the land of thought and flow. A sour green land of pure, unfiltered thoughts, quiet and peaceful, except for the denizen threatening it. It was like my heaven. And awaiting me there was my mom, brought back to life by the Colonel Sprite.
Torresi?
She slowly said as she awoke inside her new form as my companion.
I had a weird dream. About fire and a forest. Where are we?
We're home, Mom.
I said, relief seeping into my very bones. I hugged my mother for the first time. Editor's notes. Wouldn't that mean you prototyped yourself? What do you mean, Dave? Editor's note. Sprites are able to be prototyped twice, and whatever touches them become part of their sprite. If you hugged her, wouldn't you also get prototyped too? I guess. Maybe. I didn't know that was a thing. Editor's note. Well, that isn't consistent with the lore we've been presented with, dipshit. Okay, well, I'm sorry that my touching emotional moment wasn't consistent with the lore, shitsmear. What a fucking nerd. Carcat was right about you. Editor's note. What's that supposed to mean? Does Carcat talk about me? Oh, all the time, Dave. Wink. Editor's note. Don't wink at me, weirdo. Editor's note, stop. Editor's note, this chapter is over, and I've decided as the target audience for this document that it's over.
So much for the cool kid.
Homestuck Alternate Universe is written, produced, and narrated by Funk McLovin. Also featuring Janaya as Kanaya, AE as Torresi, Bucky as Carcat, Pakin as Tavros, Shrimp as Nepeta, Technically Dead as Solix, Harper as Vriska, Eclipi as Gamzee and Equius, and West as Theferi. Illustrations are by Sunny Dionysus and Gastro. Please support Homestuck Alternate Universe on patreon.com/funkmclovin for early access, behind the scenes, and bonus features, but mostly do simply support the efforts of independent creators. Homestuck was written by and is the creation of Andrew Hussie. Thank you for listening.